Sound guy Phil, ready to roll. 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. We're live. What's going on, Tin Roof? What's going on? 5 o'clock here, September the 22nd, a Wednesday. We're live out here at Tin Roof. Appreciate everybody coming out. Obviously, we'll have people file in as we go throughout the night. Very excited to be back out at Tin Roof once again here on a Wednesday afternoon. It is Kentucky week. Gamecocks taking on the Kentucky Wildcats this Saturday night game at Williams-Brice Stadium after 2 straight road games. The Gamecocks do return home for a pivotal matchup under the lights at Willie B. Really looking forward to it. We're going to talk about that, much more, taking your questions, your comments, your calls as well. 843-790-3377. Again, that's 843-790-3377. Also, those tuned in digitally. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. See Todd Smith, Roy, David Garrick, my guy David stopping by earlier. Appreciate you. Phil, Cody Gaskins, Travi. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you all tuning in. Tuned in digitally, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Appreciate y'all, but obviously you're out here at Tin Roof. 50-cent wings, $3 drafts. Great night to have a night. Great Wednesday to have a Wednesday. There's no better way to spend a Wednesday than out at Tin Roof in the Vista. Yes, definitely got to check it out sometime, guys. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. One quick update, by the way. I probably should have said this earlier on social media, but if you do come out tonight, we've actually got Beamer Ball, koozies, garnet, and black. I've got them on with me. I've probably got about 150 of them in this box. So if you guys are interested, we're selling the koozies here at Tin Roof. Again, would love to give these things away, but they just take too long to get, and they're too hard to get. Just give them away. So again, if you guys want to come out, buy yourself a koozie, you are more than welcome to. But of course, again, sitting here on Kentucky week. By the way, we've also got stickers to give away. Pocket schedules, whatever else you can think of, we got it up here for you guys. So again, appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate those who are out at Tin Roof. Like I said, we're going to have some people file in, I know, later, of course, here on a Wednesday. Also, former Gamecocks offensive lineman Mike Matulis, my guy Mikey, he's going to join me here shortly, probably in about 30, 45 minutes or so. Going to be a really good time, really good conversation. Really excited. Second straight week we've had an offensive lineman, by the way, so I'm really looking forward to getting his perspective, his overall thoughts on the offensive line as a whole. You know, obviously Mike also blocking for some of the best Gamecocks football teams in school history, playing from 2011 to 2015. So really going to be really cool to reflect and relive some of the glory days with Mike, as well as talk Gamecocks offensive line this year, just kind of what the deal, what the issue is. We all know, obviously, offensive line play has been the issue of this football team. There's no other way to put it. So, again, really excited to chat with him and break that all down. But, again, it's Kentucky week. It's a much different vibe, I'll be honest with you guys. It's a much different vibe sitting up here this week versus this time last week. You know, last week we were obviously trying to keep things optimistic, positive, everything else. But the vibe, I feel like going into this game is so much different just because, you know, we all knew the task at hand a week ago. I think most Gamecock fans kind of understood that South Carolina was overmatched in that game against Georgia, and the talent discrepancy was very, very real. And you saw that on the field over the weekend as Georgia really took care of their business and, 40-6 in the third quarter. Credit to the guys. They kept fighting. They kept fighting, scratching, and clawing, and made it a game late. But I think we all saw, obviously, what we all thought was going to happen with, just like I said, the talent discrepancy, and the matchups were certainly in Georgia's favor. But a much different scenario this weekend. The Gamecocks, I think, taking on a team they are on much more even footing with. The talent, I think, is very comparable. You know, we talked earlier on the Daily Crow today, is South Carolina technically, or would you say right now, they're a better football team than Kentucky? I think that might be a little bit aggressive, but it's very close. It's very close, and we're going to learn a lot about this football team. Of course, Saturday night under the lights, I know Gamecock fans are going to show up and show out. Again, it's going to be a ton of fun. Also, be sure you're coming into Columbia. A couple quick updates. The SEC Network announcing that SEC Nation, their pregame show, will be taking place live from the Horseshoe Saturday morning, beginning at 9 a.m. 10 a.m. is when the actual pregame show starts. I think they said you can actually get out there at 7 a.m. if you want to. But they'll be on the Horseshoe. Also, Friday, Paul Feinbaum will be doing his show 3 to 7 on the Horseshoe on the campus at the University of South Carolina. So really, really cool stuff. Yeah, yours truly, definitely going to use that as a marketing opportunity. We're going to get the TSUS flag, the Big Cock Club flag, all that good stuff out there. Probably going to make us a sign as well. I don't really know what it's going to say yet. Would love some suggestions from you all. But really, really looking forward to a fun day on Friday, and then, of course, morning, and then day and night on Saturday as well. Of course, Saturday, quick reminder, the TSUS tailgate will be live out at Seawells spots 93 to 96. Seawells, spots 93 to 96. It's going to be a really, really good time. I can tell you guys the EIU game was legendary. Many cold beverages were deleted, and that will be the case certainly again this weekend. Also, a quick update for those who tune into our daily live stream called The Daily Crow. We run that noon to 2 each and every single day, Monday through Friday. Thanks to a friend of the show, David, who's tuned in right now. He actually hooked us up with a plug-in that we will be able to take your calls and stream them directly into the feed. So no more of me holding the phone under the microphone looking like a crazy person. And the audio will be much clearer, much louder. So, again, we're taking baby steps. We are growing. We're evolving. We're getting better. But appreciate David with the hookup there, man. That should be an absolute game changer when it comes to taking your calls. Also, we're going to have a post-game show after the Kentucky game on Saturday. So we'll be able to take your questions there as well. And it's going to be a really good time. And hopefully nothing but positive vibes in the postgame. Like I said, that could get a little dangerous. Could get a little dangerous in the postgame with a postgame show, but hey, it is what it is. So, again, taking your questions, your comments, your calls, 843-790-3377. Guys, whatever's on your mind. Obviously, again, it is Kentucky week. Gamecocks take on the Cats this Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff under the lights at Willie B. Right now, the spread sitting at South Carolina, a 5-point underdog. The over-under set at 48 total points. And, of course, on Wednesdays, we talk gambling. I give my SEC gambling picks as well as the best bet for the game. And this line hasn't moved at all, actually. Cats open as a 5-point favorite, which I'll tell you this, the line opened at 5. I had a buddy of mine text me on Sunday afternoon just saying, man, I think the Gamecocks are going to be a 1-point favorite, a 2-point favorite. I think it's going to be a pick 'em. And I actually guessed, I was like, I really think Kentucky's going to be the favorite, no question. And I actually said I think there'll be a 4.5 or a 5-point favorite. You guys can go listen to that conversation I had with Mike Gillespie on Sunday afternoon. That was before the lines dropped. And I actually told him that. And sure enough, the line came out right at 5 points. So, again, I think I'm getting a little too good as far as how well I know my football team. But either way, Kentucky a 5-point favorite. That line has not moved at all. I think Vegas probably nailed what the numbers should be. Again, does that mean Kentucky's going to win the football game? No, but in regards to the betting line, I think they pretty much nailed it. I love the over in the game, though. The over 48, I think it's a no-brainer play. I think Kentucky will move the football. I think they will score. They're a very balanced team. 2 fantastic running backs with Chris Rodriguez, Cavassier Smoke. They got a big physical offensive line, one of the best in the SEC, you could argue. And then South kind of getting Luke Doty back. That to me, is going to be just a huge, huge game changer for this football team. And him returning and the way the offense, I think, will be able to be dynamic. Kentucky is talented on defense. And I will say a lot of it is going to come down to the offensive line play. The offensive line's got to step up and do their thing and be much, much better than they've been the first 3 weeks, because they've been just hot trash the first 3 weeks of the season. But if they can do that, again, I think Luke Doty, his game-breaking ability, and you think also to last year, man, South Carolina ran the ball. I think they ran for like 270 yards against Kentucky a season ago. Kevin Harris with a phenomenal game. So I think if South Carolina can do that, Luke Doty will be a game-breaking type of player. And, Josh Van on the outside, I think he'll be able to score. I'm looking like a 31-28, 31-24 type of game. 48 just feels way too low. 48 just feels way, way, way too low. So, again, guys, taking your questions, your comments, your calls, 843-790-3377. Appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, come on out to Tin Roof. 50-cent wings, $3 drafts. I think we might have open mic. I don't know if do we still do that? Open mic night? Is that a thing anymore? Kind of, maybe? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, cool. Well, come on out either way. 50-cent wings, $3 drafts, the best deal in the city. You absolutely cannot beat it. Like I said, we're also going to have Mike Matulis, former Gamecocks offensive lineman, going to join me here in about 30 minutes or so. Really excited to chat with him. And again, if you're not tuned in, which I know there's probably many of you right now that are probably busy at 5:09 in the afternoon on Wednesday, we will redistribute that Mike Matulis conversation on the podcast tomorrow. That'll drop tomorrow morning. So if you want to listen back to that again, really excited again to get Mike's perspective on offensive line play, what's going on with the offensive line right now. Again, you look at Georgia, the Georgia game last weekend, and Georgia obviously superior talented than you, and Shane Beamer was very quick to point that out, was saying that the 105 stars they have on the defense, but just some of the issues you saw. I mean, just with the blown assignments and it just inexcusable. What is it, right? We don't think it's talent, because you have 4 or 5 guys back from an offensive line last year that paved the way for Kevin Harris. You have a brand new coaching staff. Is it the coaching staff? Is it a new scheme? Is it a new system? what exactly has been the problem for the Gamecocks offensive line through 3 games, and hopefully they can get that fixed. Hopefully they can get that fixed for sure. Again, guys, taking your questions, your comments, your calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Let's fire away at it. Again, I would love also your sign suggestions. What's up, Mike? We're going to get you up here. And you're good. We'll get you up here in just a little bit. I'll let you know when to come up here. So Mike actually just got in the building. We'll get Mike up here in just a second. Again, I want to take some of your questions before we bring Mike on. I try to balance this show out where we get the guest on around 5:30 or so. So we have him sort of right in the middle, but whatever. Either way, we'll make adjustments as we go. Again, guys, fire away with your questions, whatever you got, especially if you're here as well. If you want to text those in, that's probably the best way to do it. But I think the biggest thing for Gamecock fans this week is this, man, in regards to, and it's not, I spent all of last week, or a lot of it, injecting perspective when it comes to, the outlook of the game, because it is very easy to cling to an extreme, whether it be positive or negative. It is very easy to cling to an extreme. And I feel like a lot of people do that in regards to they're either wearing the garnet glasses or they're negative and pessimistic and they're doom and gloom and all that. I really try to present the middle ground, the perspective for the football game. So like last week, continuing to be positive, continue to be optimistic, but understanding the task and the challenge at hand. This week, the vibe is very different, where you are a much more equal footing with a team like Kentucky, and you do have a very good chance to win the football game. You should be positive and optimistic and feel good about this one. Again, you're our home underdog, but you're at home. You're under the lights, a place where you have won, and you've won a lot in the past. With that being said, we ran a poll earlier on our social media. I want to pull this up really quickly because I'm curious. I haven't checked the vote in just a little bit here. We ran this poll, and my question was to the Gamecocks fan base: would you call this weekend's game against Kentucky a quote-unquote must-win? Would you call this game against Kentucky a must-win? Right now, this poll has 21 hours left. There's already 1,000 votes, over 1,000, a little bit over 1,000. But again, would you call this weekend's game against Kentucky a must-win? Over 1,000 votes in just 3 hours. 76% of Gamecock fans are saying this is a must-win game. What's going on, boys? 76% are saying this is a must-win game. And listen, I picked this game, just call it for what it is. I picked it as a loss in the preseason. I actually picked Kentucky to beat you in the preseason. With that being said, I picked the Gamecocks to lose this game and then go on to make a bowl game. I just don't want Gamecock fans to put this game on such a pedestal as to where if it does not go the way you hope it's going to go, that you all of a sudden believe your season is over and that, this season's a failure and none of the goals and aspirations you have are possible, because that's just not the case. That's just not the case, bottom line. So, again, just try to keep perspective. I feel like one of the toughest things for Gamecock fans to do is give Kentucky credit in football, because there's still a lot of that Vanderbilt stigma hanging around Kentucky, where it's like, and I agree. Listen, you should expect to beat Kentucky at the University of South Carolina. Again, we're gonna get Mike up here in just a second, where we're gonna talk about that. You're supposed to beat Kentucky in football. There's no question. They're a basketball school. Obviously, when he was there, they had a ton of success over the Wildcats. But tip your cap to Mark Stoops and what he's built, man. They're a good football team. And have they recruited better than you over the last 6-7 years? No, they have not. But they've spent the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years since he's been there finding guys that really buy into their culture and their scheme and their system and what they're preaching in Lexington. And they're getting the most out of those guys, and they're developing those guys, and they're getting guys who are tough and who are physical. And, again, that's one of the reasons, they beat you 6 of the last 7, and they've physically whipped you in every single game they've beat you. So if the Gamecocks are going to win this football game on Saturday night, you're going to have to be the more physical team. That's it. They're going to bring it. Kentucky's going to bring it. I fully expect Kentucky to bring it. They're not going to be intimidated. Hey, here's the thing. I love the fact we're close to a sellout. It's going to be a packed crowd. Kentucky's not going to be fazed by the crowd, guys. I hate to say it. At least throughout the entire duration of the game, they came into Williams-Brice in 2017 and won. They came into Williams-Brice in 2015 and won. They've been to Columbia and won the football game. You're going to have to out-execute them on the field. That's it. And the more physical team, I fully believe, is going to win the game. Again, tomorrow's show, we've already recorded it, and talking keys the game, I think you're going to win with physicality. That's it. Again, it might sound simple. It might sound like a no-brainer, but especially in this series, the more physical football team has been the one that's won. The one game you've won in the last 7 matchups, 2019, you were the more physical team. I thought South Carolina really imposed their will and pushed Kentucky around and won at the point of attack and had their way with the Cats. And the result, what'd you win, 24-3, I think it was? So it's no secret what you have to do in this football game. We can talk Luke Doty, we can talk Josh Vann, we can talk tight ends, everything else. But if you don't win at the point of attack, and that's been the problem area for the Gamecocks through 3 weeks, right? 2.8 yards per carry you have averaged the last 2 weeks in a row. That's not going to get the job done. That's not going to get the job done. So you got to make something happen up front, bottom line. You got to make something happen up front. There's got to be an adjustment made, and we'll see if the Gamecocks can do that this week. And if he's ready, we'll get Mike up here. Speaking of offensive line, we'll go ahead and get – somebody said the boxer, by the way, in the comments. Yes, Mikey Matulis. He doesn't have quite the dreads anymore, so you might not recognize him. No, I'm just kidding. But joining me here on stage, Mike, it's kind of ironic, by the way. I get like the notifications when for like the past shows and stuff, whatever, like a year ago to the date. It was basically a year ago to the date that we had you on the podcast. So I was like, perfect timing. Here, put that boy in your face right there. But no, it's like about a year ago to the date, man. It's awesome to have you on. I think it's perfect because we had if I can get situated here. We had John Strickland on last week talking offensive line. So now we got 2 straight weeks of former offensive linemen. And I feel like it's perfect timing, again, especially with how this season's going and what's going on with the O-line. But first thing, Mike, appreciate you taking the time. Man, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. How you been, by the way? You still throwing punches? You still throwing haymakers or what?
So looking to still fight, looking to try to get a fight in maybe December, but mostly right now, just real estate. So if you guys are looking to buy or sell, just let me know.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Hit up Mike. Yes. Especially on IG, right? It's like, I think your numbers in the description and everything too.
Yes.
So
yep.
Yes. And we'll be sure to, by the way, we'll be sure to push that on social media, anybody in the area. But no, I mean, like I said, it's great to have you on. Before we talk about this year's team, what you've seen from the offense line, obviously we got to talk about your career, and because obviously you played on some of the best teams in school history. You got there in 11, right? That was your first year. Yeah, yes. Got there in 11, and you just battled the injury bug the entire time, which led you to be at Carolina for 5 years, I believe.
Yes,
till 15.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious if you guys were blocking as, and I don't want to be too harsh on them, but call it what it is. If you guys were blocking as poorly as our guys are right now, what would Coach Spurrier have said to the offensive line guys?
Well, I don't know, man. You guys just need to get out there and just do better.
But no, I mean it's an adjustment period. They definitely, it's hard to say because I've been on that side of it, so right. I know what it's like when other people are like, "Man, y'all need to get it, get things going, get things rolling." But the offensive line, it needs some work.
Yeah.
Definitely need some work.
And that's why I like talking to former offensive linemen, though, is because, I mean, again, I've said this on many occasions. It's like, people don't understand the intricacies and everything that goes into it and just all the schemes and everything. Mm-hmm. And, you guys had a fantastic coach in Sean Elliott, which I know you guys, by the way, have got to be really fired up because I don't know if you saw the schedule for next year, but Georgia State is the week 1 opponent. So Coach Elliott making his homecoming, if you will, which will be really, really cool. But talk about Coach Elliott. I mean, he obviously was a game changer, I think, for Coach Spurrier and what he did coaching up the offensive line. And the running game was, I feel, always a strength, especially those last couple of years and, the last run, especially 11 to 13. But what was it about Coach Elliott that you think makes him such a good offensive line coach and coach as a whole?
I think part of it was recruiting too. But Coach Elliott was just a hell of a coach, a hell of a motivator. I mean, he really got under your ass. I mean, he got you fired up before a game. He got you moving, going. And also Georgia was a really good team. I mean, that defensive line was a phenomenal defensive line. So, you got, a little bit of a rebuilding, but you're looking and comparing them against a phenomenal Georgia D-line. Yeah. So hopefully they'll be able to rebound back a little bit against Kentucky. But Coach Elliott, phenomenal coach. Very excited for next year when we play Georgia State. Yeah. I know he is.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man. And obviously everybody knows. I'm sure you saw him. I think it was like last week. He went viral again for the mosh pit antics that he has. Which, I mean, we all saw that at Carolina. It was always fun to watch that in pregame when Coach Elliott would get in guys' face. I was kind of worried. Did you guys ever beat him up a little too much? I feel like he I guess he wanted that to happen. He was trying to get punched in the face, basically.
Yeah, I push Coach Elliott all the time. So if he's hearing this, just know I pushed him all the time. But no, he got fired up. I mean, against Bama. So my official visit was against Bama.
Okay.
When we beat number 1 Bama.
Yeah.
And I saw him come out of the mosh pit, and his face was all bloodied, and he was. I mean, it was unreal. Guy's a different breed.
It's like, I want to play for that guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get to Carolina, obviously, again, we mentioned Coach Spurrier. What was that relationship like? Because I'm always curious and intrigued to hear, and I know, again, we touched on it, last year when he came on, but his relationship with players is, it's very different depending on, your quarterback, your receiver, tight end, whatever, but as an offensive line. But you coming in, you also have that Florida connection, right?
Yes.
I mean, you have the Florida connection. So I forget, growing up, were you a Spurrier guy? Was it like a no-brainer connection to like, hey, Coach Spurrier's at Carolina, I want to go there? Like, what was that?
No,
like?
not really. Growing up, I wasn't a big football guy, so I actually didn't really have too much of a clue of what was going on. Spurrier, Gamecocks, but Coach Spurrier, you knew where you stood with him, and I'll take that all day. If he likes you, if he doesn't like you, you're gonna know. But I'll take that all day.
Yeah, for sure. No, Coach Spurrier, legend, obviously, what he did on the field at Carolina, and that 11 season, I'll just say 11-13, man. How crazy was that? Just going, I mean, again, 3 straight 11. You came to Carolina, you had some good timing. That was not a bad time to be a Gamecocks football player at all. Some pretty big wins during that run.
No, it was good football. I mean, we had a lot of great players. DJ Swearinger at the time when I came in, Alshon Jeffrey, Connor Shaw, absolute winner of a quarterback. I mean, we had great players, great coaches. It was just a great recipe for winning. And I think Carolina's on its way.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to coach you through this. There you go. We're going to coach Mike through this, I promise. He's coachable. He's coachable. No, so, I mean, again, we talk 11, 12, 13. Most memorable game from those? Most memorable game from that 3-year stretch? Well, I mean, there's a lot, obviously. I mean, 12 Georgia at home, 13 Clemson at home. What's the one – or was there like a welcome to the SEC moment for you where it's like it clicked, like, hey, this is big time, big boy football, as Shane Beamer's been calling it?
So when we played Auburn, my true freshman year, we played Auburn. I had no idea, thinking I was going to start. And last minute, coach comes up to me. He's like, hey, you're playing. And it was an awakening moment. I mean, going up again, I'm 18 years old, 260 pounds, fresh out of high school, going against grown-ass men. And that was a real awakening moment. But my favorite game, one of the most memorable games, was against Florida my freshman year, where they came into Williams-Brice and we upset them. And Coach Spurrier came up to me at the end of the game, shook my hand. He said, Mike, what a phenomenal game. Great job. Very proud. Looking forward to the future pretty much.
Yeah. So, with you, obviously, I remember that game vividly. I was there. That was Connor Shaw. And, he took over in that 11 season. And, people have compared current quarterback Luke Doty to Connor Shaw and the skill sets and just, being a mobile quarterback and what he can do with his legs. And a lot of fans have brought this up this week in regards to, because Zeb Nolan, obviously the first couple of games starting for the Gamecocks, and then Luke Doty's going to take over. Does it change the way an offensive line operates a lot when you have two different style of quarterbacks and one guy who's a pocket passer versus one guy who can evade the pass rush the way a guy like Connor could or Luke Doty can? I mean, does it really change anything for you guys a whole lot, or is it just as simple as just go do your job?
Do your job.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah. Yeah, because many have looked at it right now as, okay, it's going to be some huge game changer. It's like, hey, if you can't block, you can't block. Like, if you're not getting the job done, you're just not getting the job
Do your
done.
damn job.
You can't let guys have free reign, free shot at the quarterback. I mean, dude, it's crazy. That Auburn game, that was I guess that was Garcia's last go-around.
Yeah.
And, obviously Connor takes over and, what happened the rest of the way. Dude, the dreads, man. What you got to tell the dread story again. The story, again, I remember, I think I told you this last time. I remember seeing you like out and about in Columbia, I think 2014, and you were rocking the dreads. But where did that start? Where did that come? You see how I got like the mullet thing going now, but
I like it, man.
I might have to go into some dreads.
I think
I might have to get some dreads, bro. We go win an SEC. I got it. Got you. No 50-cent wings today, by the way, guys. Just throw that out there. No 50-cent wings today. Wing shortage in Columbia. Blame Will Muschamp. Yeah. Blame Will Muschamp. No, I'm kidding. But dude, I might have to get the dreads. Where did the idea, the inspiration for the dreads come from?
So you spoke on it a little bit earlier. I had a lot of injuries. The dreads came as a thing for me to keep going with football. I had a point in time where I almost quit.
Yeah.
it was hard for me to gain weight. Lost a lot of weight after a couple surgeries, and one of the things was this was my locks, my promise to keep playing football. The day that I was done, I cut them. So the day that I said, "Hey, I'm done playing football," I shaved them off. But I miss them, and I want to get them back. And so if you get some dreads, I'll grow them back, and I'll.
I'm about to say, being a real estate agent with dreads, that would, yeah, why not? Yeah, I love it. Hey, that's called personal branding, separating yourself from the pack for sure. Dude, just thinking back in those years you played, 12, 13. I mean, it's crazy you guys didn't get an SEC championship. It really is. It really is. And that 10 team obviously set the standard with winning the SEC East. And 11, 12, and 13, which one do you think was the best team out of those three? You had to pick one.
11.
11? Really?
Yeah, we had some absolute rock stars on the team.
Yeah.
DJ Swearinger, Connor Shaw, my favorite players to watch play football.
Yeah.
Seriously, as a player, I mean, watching them, I was like, man, these guys play hard football, hard-nosed football.
I was going to say, what do you think made Connor so good? Because he wasn't like a crazy, highly recruited player, but just like you said, he's just a winner. Like one word to describe him, he's a winner. Yeah.
He's a hard-nosed football player. I mean, he played through injury. He got it done. A lot of times you see people, and not naming any, but specifically, but you see people get hurt and, they're out or they baby stuff or whatever. But Connor, if he could play, he was playing.
Right.
And he would find a way to get it done. But one word, winner.
Yeah. Some guys play football for the Instagram pictures. Some play for just the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys play because they love the game. That was Connor Shaw, just pure love of the game. And DJ Swearinger as well. DJ, absolute freak, obviously. Spurrier's retirement, because, again, you were on the football team. How surprising was that moment for you guys when Spurrier hung it up?
Very.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it coming. Just came after practice one day. It seemed coaches didn't see it coming. I don't even know if his wife saw it coming. I mean, she was crying, surprised. But he did what he thought was best for him, and I believe that he did what he thought was best for the team. And so I full respect for him, and just unfortunate the way things unfolded.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I don't want to forget to mention also, you won, four bowl games? 4 bowl games while you were counting? 4 bowl games. That's insane. Oh, yeah. Winning 4 bowl games. Favorite bowl game victory from your time there? Is there one that stands out from all of them?
Capital One Bowl, my freshman year. So the game that I played started in my first year there.
Yeah, that Nebraska. Yeah,
Nebraska.
What was the story? I don't know if it was you told me or somebody else that Spurrier in pregame, you guys are on the bus and they're looking over at the Nebraska bus that has all like the conference titles and accolades, and it's like, who cares? Like, we're going to go out and beat them anyways. So the first 11-win season in school history also, man. That's got to be pretty cool to look back on and be like, I was a part of. I mean, that's real history.
Yes.
Like, and obviously you got the 11-win ring, I'm sure, and everything else. And no, and then it leads to, Spurrier's resignation and retirement and everything else. But no, I mean, great times, great memories. Again, when you look at, we'll say, this football team, I know you got there just after Shane Beamer. After he had left, gone to Virginia Tech, and was with his father there, Frank Beamer. But what did he recruit you? Did he assist in recruiting you or no?
Yeah, he was part of my recruiting class, but I didn't have much interaction with him.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, obviously I know that you're obviously very involved. I think you were there the day that he was at the indoor and met up with a bunch of the Letterman and alumni. How excited were you to see him get the job? I know you guys had a ton of input, and there was a huge Zoom meeting with all the former players and getting input on who should get the job, this, that. We heard about culture. Who's going to be the guy that brings that back? And I think it became very obvious very quickly that it was a no-brainer that the guy who had seen the best version of South Carolina football and helped build it was the right option. The guy who understood what being a Gamecock meant. And how happy were you, I guess, when Beamer got the job?
Very. I mean, when you watch the games right now, you can just see it. He's happy to be here. He loves South Carolina football. He loves the players, and he's absolutely happy to be here. And that's half the battle. I mean, you need somebody that wants to be here, wants the program to get better. And I have full faith in Beamer that he's going to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we're all really excited for Beamer ball taking over in Columbia. Again, I always give credit where credit's due. And again, I think to offensive linemen you have to, because like I said, there's a lot of intricacies to it, and it's not as simple as just line up, block the guy in front of you. There's a lot of schematics and everything else. But, coming off a season like last year, Mike, where you paved the way for Kevin Harris, you and I talked in just before the season started last year. But the offensive line, when you when you paved the way for a 1,000-yard rusher, you had a pretty good year. You feel like blocking up front. I mean, you don't get to 1,000 if you're not a very good line. So that's exactly what your offensive line did. And we felt like coming into this season, it was going to be a strength for South Carolina football and something they were going to be able to lean on. You know, Shane, we were talking about in the preseason, both lines of scrimmage being a strength. And early this season, it hasn't quite clicked. And again, you got to give credit a lot of, speaking on last week, a lot of credit to Georgia. I mean, that line just incredible. And you heard Shane Beamer, what he had to say, the 105 stars. But it's a little concerning for fans when guys are running free. They're just being untouched. They're completely being unaccounted for. What have you seen through 3 weeks from the offensive line? I don't know how much you've gotten to watch, but, there's been some bright spots, but I feel like it's the blunders or the mistakes have been so glaringly painful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, the first couple of games, they look good. I mean, but, that last game really showed a lot of mistakes, a lot of missed assignments. So just a lot of mistakes that need to be corrected. I think a lot of things could have been prevented just by doing your job, right? Doing what you're supposed to do. But I think it'll click. It has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, a lot of missed assignments.
Yeah. How tough is it for an offensive line to learn a new scheme and system? I forget if was Elliott's first year wasn't 11, right? He got there before that.
Yeah, he was the year before.
Okay. So I was going to say, did you ever have to learn a new?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
So, well, maybe you wouldn't have the greatest perspective on it, but I'm just curious, like, how tough would that be? I mean, again, I'm sure you're familiar with guys, or you would have some perspective and insight on. I mean, how much does it change? Because again, what fans, I think it's a hard time clicking for them. It's like, okay, this is, you had 4 or 5 guys coming back, over 80 career starts. Like, how can there be such a contrast as from what we saw from last year to this year? Like, what's your take on that? Like, what can change so much from year to year?
Well, it's tough. I mean, especially if you came into a system and you've been using, the same amount of plays, formations, everything is your time there, and then all of a sudden now you're changing. But it's not an excuse. You do your job. I mean, we keep saying the same thing, but it boils down to just that. Do your job. I mean, schemes change all the time, plays change all the time, so you got to be able to pick up on that and adjust and adapt.
Yeah. We got a question. I want to read this one off from Travis. It's a great question. It says, with Mike being on the O-line in the past, what types of adjustments do we need to make? You kind of just touched on that, but give us an in-depth take on what needs to happen so we can get the running game going. What's the most important thing in run block? Because, again, it's a different type of scheme. It's also a different mentality, blocking for the run versus blocking for the pass.
I think there's a big reason why I'm sitting here talking about football and why the coaches are over there, so I just want to make that known. But, I think that right now we weren't getting a lot of push up front, so running up the middle wasn't getting it done. We need to move to the outside, roll the pocket, things like that. If our O-line's not really getting it done up front as far as regular pocket, do something different, roll the pocket, move the pocket, run to the outside, do something different, because running up front's not getting it done.
Yeah. Because I look right now, I feel like it's got to be more mental mistakes than physical mistakes. Because, again, I mean, it's, and that's the thing, I guess, that gives me positivity and optimism with the line that they'll get it figured out. It's like they've done it. Like, these guys have played good football. It's not like you're asking guys to do something they're not capable of doing. I mean, it's obviously from last year. So, it's got to click this week. It's got to click.
It's got to click.
Yeah, I say a lot, man. I'm like, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. And in today's football, you got to have the guy under center to realistically compete. But if you don't have an offensive line, you don't have a chance. I mean, you really don't. I mean, again, I think back to when you played in those lines, you guys were really, really good up front. I mean, that's why there's, guys that played in the league or still playing in the league, on those fronts. I mean, you got to have those big uglies. And you look at teams like Alabama, Georgia, the elites, they have big-time offensive linemen for sure. James Kendall commented, by the way, Coach Elliott, when he came out of the locker room after the rain delay against Georgia, which obviously you're speaking on the 2014 game, which was legendary because I was there, came out of the locker room after the rain delay, ran around the field to amp up the crowd. That sounds like a Sean Elliott moment for sure.
Electric.
For sure.
Electric.
Yeah. Now, going to or looking at the Kentucky game, I mean, obviously South Carolina playing Kentucky this Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Memorable matchups with the Kentucky Wildcats. I know your first year in 11, you guys just pummeled them. That was Connor's first game. I think the final score was like 54-3, just a domination. 2012, I remember being a little bit tougher game in Lexington, which for whatever reason, those were always tough. 13, I think you guys jumped out big
Mhm.
lead and held on, won the game by like 10 or 14 or something. And then, of course, 14 is when things started to just hit the fan for whatever reason. But memories from playing the Kentucky Wildcats. Again, I'm just sitting up here as a fan, a guy with a podcast talking about physicality, and that's sort of the identity of Kentucky football. But would you agree, disagree, have a different opinion? Like, what do you remember most from taking on Kentucky?
It's SEC football.
Right.
I mean, they got big dudes up front, big fast guys up front, so it's SEC football. But that's it. I mean, they play hard football. I mean, no matter what. I mean, that, as far as memorable, like against the Florida or against the Auburn, not as memorable, but they play hard football.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, I feel like the Kentucky you guys played in like 11 and 12 it's not the same Kentucky now. Like again, you got to tip your cap. Mark Stoops, and they've done a hell of a job in regards to building that program up and recruiting guys. And like I said, recruiting guys, I think, believe in kind of what Coach Beamer is trying to do, getting guys that believe in the culture and the system and everything else. Overall, your takeaways from Coach Beamer, what he's done over his first preseason and now, I mean, overall, it's just seeing the culture change. Do you feel like there's been a real shift in regards to the trajectory of Carolina football?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, just even what he's done so far with recruiting. I mean, when he just came in, what he took over and what he did with recruiting, he did a really good job. And, and even then, like, even though Gamecock, like the last game wasn't very good, there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, when you watch them, they made a lot of good plays. They made a lot of, they made a lot of improvements. From week 1 to week 2 to week 3, they're making improvements, and you just hope that, week 4 they made enough improvements to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
I'm going to get you out here. But last thing, what's more exhilarating for you? Selling a house, knocking somebody out, or a pancake block? Like you just like pummel the dude, just drive him in the ground. Like which of those moments is your favorite?
That's tough. So I think the best moment for me is maybe when I run, I make a huge block, I knock him out at the same time, and then after that, I go and sell a house. That would probably be the best.
The trifecta. What's your most memorable like pancake block from Carolina? Is there one that Clemson
stands out? My freshman year again, I pulled. It was a counter. I absolutely drove him into the dirt, and that was probably still sticks with me today.
Those are the ones that are fun to watch in film study. And that was honestly my first thought watching Georgia. Some of those I was like, God, I mean, that's they say the eye in the sky don't lie. And
nope.
Yikes! That's not gonna be fun to go back and watch on Sunday. That's for sure.
No.
You feel about what would Coach Spurrier say when you just whiffed on a block? Is he just
he just made you feel that small.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't feel like doing anything. You just didn't want to do it. That's my fault. I shouldn't have done that. And you're like,
I'm the one that recruited you.
Yeah, I'm the one that recruited you. That's my fault.
That's my bad. I'm the one that recruited you. I'm the one that put you out there. So, Mike, always a pleasure, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, Mike Matulis, 2011-15 Gamecocks legend. Give it up for Mike. Mikey Matulis.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Go Cox.
Pleasure. Go Cox. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, by the way, need a real estate agent. Mike Matulis. We'll plug it on IG. We'll plug it on Instagram. Hey, we'll plug it on Instagram. Why not? No, for sure. I know there's got to be some people on the old Instagram machine that need a house, right? I probably should start looking here soon. I'll let you know, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. Again, appreciate the questions, by the way, guys. 843-790-3377. Somebody said, 54-3 win this Saturday would be great. Yeah, it would be awesome. Yeah, but again, really excited. Again, appreciate Mike sharing his perspective. Like I said, I really always look forward to chatting with the former offensive linemen and guys that played offensive line. Because like I said, guys, if you never played it, you can't really speak on it in depth and in detail. We can get frustrated about it. We can be upset with it. But you really just cannot speak on it intelligently the way someone, again, that actually played it and knows the intricacies and the ins and outs of the offensive line does. So, again, appreciate Mike taking the time. Appreciate him coming out again. Tin Roof, $3 drafts, guys. No 50-cent wings tonight. Wing shortage in cola, but $3 drafts. We're out here taking your questions, your comments, your calls. Again, 843-790-3377. Let's see, anything new on the Twitter machine. By the way, guys, quick reminder, in case you missed it, SEC Nation going to be live from the Horseshoe. The Horseshoe this weekend. Paul Feinbaum will be out there Friday, 3 to 7. Saturday, their show gets going at, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock Saturday morning. You can go out there. I think they said they open up at 7 o'clock, but 10 o'clock the show will get going, and going to be a really good time. Again, the buzz, the electricity, the excitement all around Columbia coming in this game this weekend as the Gamecocks have a huge pivotal matchup against the Kentucky Wildcats. Can South going to get to 3-1? What a start that would be for Shane Beamer. Get your first ever SEC win. Indeed, go Cox. I love it. Love the energy, love the passion. From the man in the yellow shirt back there. But, no, seriously, getting your first SEC win. Shane, we're still looking for that first SEC win. Can he get it this weekend against the Kentucky Wildcats? Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I don't know what it is. Every Wednesday we have, like, bipolar weather. We had some rain. We got some sun. Probably going to rain again. Who knows? Appreciate sound guy Phil, by the way, working hard over there. Appreciate him. Always been out here each and every single Wednesday. Yep, all the Phils are here. All the Phils are in attendance. By the way, I still don't have the polo, unfortunately. I'm waiting on merch from me too. So trust me, I don't get it either. Fulfillment right now is, I don't know. Blame COVID, blame China. I don't know. Blame somebody. If you want to blame it, don't blame me, but blame someone. Don't blame me though. Whatever you do. By the way, guys, we got stickers to give away, pocket schedules. Also got koozies for sale. So if you want to buy a koozie or two, like I said, I wish I could give them away for free, but they're just so hard to get more of that I'm like, I feel like I kind of have to charge for them. It takes a month to get them. So, I don't know. Again, that's I guess a good problem to have. I guess I should just order more, but it's crazy how tough it is to get koozies fulfilled right now. But again, 843-790-3377, guys. That's 843-790-3377. The latest from Gamecock football, they're preparing for a capacity crowd. I think we're like 1,000 ticket sales away or 1,000 tickets away from a sellout crowd at Willie B. And I'm definitely challenging the Gamecocks fan base this weekend. Listen, people have been clamoring for, and I would never tell people how to spend their money, what to do. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to go to the game. I don't care if you go or not, to be honest with you. I don't care if you go or not. But, a lot of people have been clamoring and saying, we want the packed stadiums. We're going to go to the games. And then you call it for what it is. The EIU game, you have 64,000 people. And I know it was EIU, but I was a little surprised at how shabby the attendance was. So show up, show out, be early, be loud. Shane Beamer's been clamoring for fans to show up to the game and make it an electric atmosphere, and especially when you take into account all of the fantastic recruits that'll be there Saturday night. Fans always ask me, Chris, how can we help the program? What can we do as fans to elevate the program and support Shane Beamer and support everything that's going on? Well, what you can do is you can show up, you can show out, you can be loud, you can be rowdy. You can do those things. You do those things, hey, you'd be surprised how little recruits actually care about the on-field result. Recruits care about the atmosphere, the energy, who they're playing in front of, the passionate fan base. Do that, and I promise you will be helping out the Gamecocks in a major, major way. Jesse Jacob says, I think he gets the first win. Luke being QB1 for practice all week is huge. I think O-line is a much better week. Run game would be much better. Yeah, I think the things to make you feel good about the run game and the O-line, you did run for like 270 yards on these guys last year. So you would like to think that you'll be able to run the football. You would certainly like to think you'll be able to run the football, no doubt. So can Kevin Harris do it again? I think he'll be the guy you're certainly going to lean on Saturday night. How many touches does a guy like Marshawn Lloyd, Zaquandre White, Rashad Amos, how many touches do they get? Will be really, really interesting to see. But, again, Kentucky with a really good front. Josh Pascal is a guy that I highlighted on tomorrow's show. Josh Pascal, number 4 for Kentucky. Really good player, really good pass rusher. I think he's got already a couple tackles for loss and a couple sacks already on the season. Kentucky's a good football team. Again, this is not, unfortunately, this is not the Kentucky team that Mike Matulis lined up against in 2011. This is actually a pretty good team. They're a solid football team. Tip your cap, give them credit. Mark Stoops has done an incredible job recruiting there, developing, building. But, it's Kentucky. You're not supposed to lose to Kentucky. You're not. There's still that stigma around, and I don't, I understand it. You're not supposed to lose to Kentucky in football. They're a basketball school, But, again, you do have to give credit where credit's due, and Mark Stoops has done an incredible job of building that thing. Done an incredible job of building that thing. So, again, taking your questions, your comments, everything else. We're hanging out. We're chilling here at Tin Roof on a Wednesday. Again, appreciate Tin Roof for having us out. What a fantastic venue here in the Vista. Been doing this since what was it? Mid-July, basically, we've been out here. And it's crazy. I'll tell you this, too, by the way, guys. Savor this. Soak this in because we're already in week 4. Like, before you know it, we're going to be week 10, 11, and then we're going to be hitting the end of the season. So we all love college football. We only get 12 of these, and we only get 7 of them at home. So enjoy this week, especially with this week, man, with it being a night game. Also, we're obviously very happy that Troy is a 3:30 game and not a nooner. Feels great to not have a nooner. Thank goodness for that. But a night game it will be, man, and it looks like the weather's going to be perfect, too. I think 75 degrees. Going to be an incredible time out at Williams-Brice Stadium Saturday night. So, again, be early, be loud, pack Williams-Brice Stadium out if you can go get there. And, hey, before you go, come on out to the TSUS tailgate. We're going to be getting rowdy. I can tell you that right now. So, no pregame show for yours truly on Saturday. Going to be able to just really enjoy the tailgate, be present moment. And I'll set the over-under at 12.5 beers drank by yours truly. 12.5. Yeah. That might sound like a decent. That's not a tough number at all, man. It's not. I mean, we're gonna get out of the tailgate 12:30. I mean, that's 6 hours to drink 2 beers an hour. You got to think. I mean, 3 or 4 will be shotgunned. So I mean, those are done within seconds. So my guy tuned in. What's up, my guy? If you're tuned in digitally, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, again, appreciate you guys. If you're out here, Tin Roof, again, thank you all so much. Really shaping up to be a really nice evening, by the way. I think they got some big things going on at the Senate this weekend as well. So, yeah, going to be a really, really good time. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, for sure. But, again, guys, savor it. Take it all in. Night game at Willie B. What an opportunity for the Gamecocks this weekend. That is, again, it's a different vibe sitting up here this week than it was last week. In so many different ways, but the biggest one for me is, last week was tough because you kind of knew you were overmatched, you were outmanned, which, by the way, since he's sitting here and everybody else sitting here as well, thank you to all those who've been coming out to the watch parties at Carolina Ale House. We've already got the last 3 basically booked. The Tennessee game, October the 9th, will be at the Carolina Ale House location in Summerville. The A&M game, which is October the 23rd, 23rd, something, whatever, will be at the Ale House location in downtown Greenville, going back to Greenville, which will be incredible. That was an incredible experience the first time we were up there. And then the last one, I think we're going to Fort Mill. We're either going to Fort Mill or we're going to be back in Harbison. So got to figure that one out. But I think Fort Mill would be cool, but Harbison obviously also is really cool for different reasons. So looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it. Going to be a good time. But, no, it's a totally different vibe this week, man, because last week you were kind of, again, it's what can you really learn from this game against Georgia? You're out, man. Every single position you go down the list, check. You're checking it off for Georgia. This is going to be much more of a measuring stick for where you are as a football team for South Carolina. And again, I say this too. Win or lose, it's not an indictment on the direction of Shane Beamer's program. I don't want fans to put this game on such a pedestal to where, well, if you lose to Kentucky, you're a bad staff, you're a bad coach. Oh, this was a mistake. And also, if you beat Kentucky, doesn't mean that you're going to go win 9 games this year or you're going to win the SEC East next year. But, yeah, in the scope of the 2021 season, yeah, it's a big game. There's no doubt. It is a big game, certainly. And the goal is to be playing in big games. So it's a fantastic opportunity for Shane Beamer, his staff, his football team. I mean, again, just getting to 3-1 with Troy upcoming, and then Tennessee, and then Vandy. I mean, I picked the Gamecocks to start 5-2. All of a sudden, you beat Kentucky. You're looking at starting 6-1, which would be a dream start for Shane Beamer in year 1. A dream start. Let's see. Yeah, Joey brings up the point. Big night of recruits watching the game. We got a lot of big-time recruits will be there Saturday night. A lot of big-time recruits. So, need you to be there, be early, be loud, show up, support, man. Again, that's the big thing recruits look for. Do they really care about the on-field result? Is just because Georgia beat South Carolina last weekend, is Oscar Delp just going to pick Georgia because of that? No. But you know what probably did impress Oscar Delp? The 92,000 that were there going nuts at Sanford. We need that type of atmosphere for this game on Saturday night against Kentucky. My guy Robbie Davis texting in 843-790-3377. You can text in here, by the way. Robbie Davis says, I just want to see us hit Kentucky in the mouth and just keep hitting them in the mouth until the game's over, because if you hit a team in the mouth early and often, they have a tendency to fold. He's got Carolina beating Kentucky 35-28. Yeah, physicality. You got to win the battle in the trenches. You have to win the battle in the trenches. If we lose, Panic Ritter will hit the panic button. Of course you will, Ritter. My guy Ritter chiming in on Facebook. Panic Ritter will lose his mind. Well, you can tune into the postgame show, then leave your questions, your comments there. You can call in, whatever you want to do, Ritter, and we can talk about it. We can talk you through it. Yeah. Poster for SEC Nation. What's the poster for SEC Nation going to say? I don't know yet. I think one side of it might say bad night to be a Wildcat. The other side, I don't know. I'm taking suggestions. I'm taking suggestions for my SEC Nation poster. Taking suggestions for my SEC Nation poster. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. I think we might, sound guy Phil, we might throw in the 5-minute breaks for the last hour 10 instead of me just going nonstop. So, yeah, we might do that, guys. We'll go ahead and get a break in before we hit in the second hour, because, again, we got a whole another hour to go. It's 5:51 here on a Wednesday at Tin Roof. I need a refill. You probably need a refill as well. And, yeah, again, we're talking Kentucky, South Carolina, Kentucky. Huge game upcoming this weekend. Want to hear your thoughts. How about your predictions? What do you think is going to happen? I picked this game as a loss in the preseason. Does not mean I'll be picking it as a loss on Friday. I'll drop my official prediction on Friday. But, I'll be honest with you. This season has gone basically exactly as I predicted. I mean, I do it every day, so I should be decent at the picks. I should kind of know what's going on. But here's what scares me. The season's gone exactly as I predicted. Everything has happened basically exactly as I thought it would, except the offensive line, which I thought would be a huge strength for this football team. All of a sudden, it feels like it's a liability. It feels like it's an issue. Can you overcome that? We'll see. Again, taking your questions, your comments, calls on the other side. We'll have maybe sound guy Phil will fire at the music. I don't know. I'm going to grab another brewski. We will take a 5-minute break. We'll be right back. Mics are hot? Okay, mics are hot. Good. All right, cool. We're back. All right. 843-790-3337. Some of the guys are going to appreciate you all tuning in. About to hit the 6 o'clock mark here at 10 Rupees. Is the Senate doing something tonight, by the way? Oh, damn. Okay. Do what? Okay. Things are popping off in Cola. Somebody said if I could pass you a Busch Light through the screen, I would. Well, we're good. We're linked up. We're hooked up. See, we got the koozie even too, guys. Koozies are available in the store, by the way, TSUS.store, or you can buy them right here. I've got them here on me. The Beamer Ball and Welcome Home koozies, they are available. James Kendall, by the way, says in the chat in the questions, can't overstate the receivers actually catching the ball is my biggest improvement so far this year. Yeah, it sure does help when you catch it, for sure. Sure does help when you catch it. It's going to help you a lot on offense. Again, 843-790-3377. Guys, like I said, come check it out this weekend. Seawells. We'll be out there. And was just talking to my buddy. Yeah, we're going to be out there noon. So we start early. My crew, my crowd that I party with and tailgate with, it's they get it done. They get it done for sure. So we're going to have a really, really good time. Be sure to come out, Seawells, spots 93 to 96. We'll have the flags flying. You cannot miss it. You cannot miss it. So it's going to be a really good time. And what a game to get ready for. You know, the Kentucky ball game. Cats sit right now as a 5-point favorite. Over-under set at 48. I love the over. I think Kentucky will score. I don't think your defense is as bad as you saw last weekend against Georgia. I don't think they're as good as you saw in the first 2 weeks either. I think Kentucky's able to move the football. And I think the return of Luke Doty, though, South Carolina offensively, I think the return of Luke Doty is going to be a difference maker for you. You know, I said in the preseason his athleticism is the biggest game changer for this offense, and I think that will be the case yet again. So, I think Luke Doty does ball out, has a big game for you. You know, is he limited any type of way? I don't think he will be, but Marcus Satterfield even saying today that is he quite at 100%? Maybe not, but, I mean, guys, we saw it last week. You can't go back now. You've put Doty in. You can't use the excuse of, he's not 110%. He can't go. He's not healthy enough to go. Yes, he is. He just went. He just did against Georgia. So, you cannot use that excuse that he's not able to play. Again, I respect everyone's opinion, by the way, but appreciate you, Mikey. Anybody who thinks there's a better option on this roster at quarterback that's not named Luke Doty, it should be thrown in the loony bin. There's just no other way to put it. I'm sorry. I respect your opinion, but, Luke Doty by far gives this team the best chance to win. Travis says, really nice to see Josh Vann step up. Yeah, no, that again, we should definitely highlight that quote again. I don't know if you guys heard this in the postgame, but Josh Vann saying in the postgame, what is it about Shane Beamer and this new staff that, obviously Josh has really established himself as wide receiver one and this team's best option and what he's been able to do early in the season. And they were asking, what do you attribute that to? What has Shane Beamer and his staff done? And Josh Vann made the point that he has refound his love for the game of football. Now, hearing Josh say that, to me, that just spoke volumes about what Shane Beamer's doing in the building. And it also it says two things. Number one, how bad were things before that Josh Vann fell out of love with the game of football? But then again, also on the flip side, it says, how much has Shane Beamer changed things that, you have a guy saying something like that. So, even in the loss to Georgia, even what the score was, I feel confident in what Shane Beamer's doing, the way he's changing the program, the way he's changing the culture. And, I think fans, no matter the result on Saturday, again, I know we're all going to, hang on, attach ourselves to the final result, but I think things are changing for the positive for South Carolina football. You got to give Shane Beamer time. This is still not his roster at all, pretty much. And so you got to give him time to build this thing. But, even in a loss to Georgia, even the final result, even with the score that it was, I think we all saw things on Saturday that make you feel like, okay, like slowly but surely things are changing for the better. Again, 843-790-3377. The legend himself, Kirk Hollingsworth, just walked in. Kirk, I appreciate you, my friend. 340, what are you at now? 347? What are you at? Games. 347? 348? 345? 345. Okay. Either way. A shit ton. That's the number. A ton. Somebody's keeping up with it. I think probably Mike Yuba just tweeted about it again. No, we love Mike for that. But no, and of course Kirk will be in the building Saturday night. Gamecocks taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. 7:00 kickoff at Williams-Brice Stadium. Let's see. Jesse Jacobs hearing Ja'Kai Moore saying he thought the O-line's been playing well was kind of depressing. Yeah, I don't know who would say the O-line's been playing well. Not I. I mean, that's where it's really going to start in this football game. Again, it's not fun, exciting, or sexy to talk offensive line play or the trenches or whatever. But, you say, oh, well, no kidding. You got to win the line of scrimmage to win the game. But in this series with these two teams, I mean, to me, that's the number one. The physicality and who wins that at the point of attack, that's the key. That's the key. Because, again, you look at just the history. Kentucky's won 6 out of 7, and the 6 they've won, they've dominated you up front. And the one time you beat them in 19, you dominated them up front. So it's no secret what's got to happen Saturday night. And that's what concerns me, honestly, about the football game. That's what concerns me is that, when you're making predictions and projections, and, hey, if you want to predict whatever you want to predict, I respect all predictions, all opinions. Hey, we had people last week saying 31-28 Georgia. People really thought that it was going to be a last team with the ball kind of game, and it was going to be that sort of result. I fully respect it. As long as you can back up your prediction and what you're saying, I got no issues with it. Got no issues with the points you want to make. But what's tough in making a prediction in this football game, and again, I haven't given one and won't give one until Friday, but normally when you make a prediction, you got to go off of knowns, like known commodities, right? You got to go off known commodities. And right now, the Gamecocks' offensive line is a deficiency until it's proven otherwise. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's one of those things where, we gave you the benefit of the doubt the first week, the second week, even going into Georgia. But now you look at it as like, is that going to be a weakness for you? Is that going to be a weakness for this football team? It happens in the trenches. It's got to happen. You got to block. You're going to have to run the football to win. You can't run for over 100 yards. You're not going to win the football game. This team's strength is supposed to be running the football. Has to be. South Carolina's not going to get into a game Saturday where it's asking Luke Doty to throw the ball 30, 40, 50 times and win. There's just no way. It's just not going to happen. You've got to be able to block and open a hole. I mean, South Carolina had 8 rushing yards at halftime last weekend. And, again, give Georgia all the credit. But they also averaged 2.8 yards per carry against East Carolina. I always look forward to questions from you, by the way. I do.
So when it comes down to breaking down, is it on the offensive line coach or is it on Satterfield on why the offense really isn't being able to throw?
Yeah. So the question is, who's it on, right? Who's to blame? And that's the thing with fans. There's always got to be somebody or something to blame, right? Fans cannot just accept. And I mean, I'd agree with you in this scenario. There is something or someone to blame. But like me saying, hey, Georgia's just got better players than you, that's not good enough for fans. They need somebody to blame. But in this scenario, that's a very valid question in this scenario. And the question was, who does it fall on? The offensive line struggles. Is it on Satterfield? Is it on Greg Atkins, the offensive line coach? Or it's on everybody? I think it's on both of them. It's on both of them. It has to be. These are the same guys that last year paved the way for Kevin. So it's got to be on coaching. It has to be on coaching. I don't know. I'll tell you this, though, and again, I talked about this on the show that will drop tomorrow. The thing I want to see is this. There just needs to be a decision made in that locker room, in that offensive line room, that meeting room, the offense as a whole. Like, physicality should be the word of the week. Like, we are going to be the more physical team. Bottom line, period, point blank. Even if it's not perfect, even if you make mistakes. I mean, the biggest thing that I want to see is this. Hey, if you would have lined up against Georgia and they just whipped you because they're better than you, I can live with that. But seeing us just allow guys to run by with not even a bit of resistance, that can't happen, man. That can't happen. You can't have guys running free. I almost thought for a second last week, hey, maybe we should take Luke Doty out because, I mean, my God, he's going to get killed. Your quarterback's going to get killed. So that's the biggest improvement I want to see, man, is just overall schematically. I don't want to see your quarterback fighting for his life back there. And then, of course, I mean, you're talking about your running backs and the stable of backs you have. And, our fans, they spent all preseason long complaining that we were disrespected and Kevin Harris isn't getting enough love and this. Where have they been? Where have they been? They haven't been playing like the best running back room in the country. Hey, blame it on them too. They deserve some blame. All of them, everyone associated deserves some. The quarterbacks deserve. Zeb Nolan deserves blame. He's the one calling the protections. So it's a group effort. Everyone's got to be better, top to bottom. They've all got to be better. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not ready to hold Marcus Satterfield's feet to the fire. Some fans are, believe it or not. There's some fans out there that, man, I think Satterfield's calling a bad game. Do you like Satterfield as an OC? Bro, we're 3 games in. Like, are we really going to go ahead and start calling for even Greg Atkins' job? There's fans that want him. I had somebody comment, Greg Atkins shouldn't get back on the plane or the bus to Columbia. It's like, bro, we're 3 games in this thing. You can't start cutting them loose 3 games in. But I will say, if we get to the end of the season and this offensive line hasn't gotten any better, and I mean, you might have to make a tough decision. I don't know. I mean, because the blame right now squarely falls on the coaching staff and the scheme they've put together. Obviously, the scheme they've put together is not clicking with those guys up front, not even close. Because these are the same guys that were they great in pass pro? No, they were not. But damn it, they paved the way for Kevin Harris to run the football. So, and right now, you can't even do that. So, and again, I don't think you're going to beat Kentucky if you can't run the ball. Because Kentucky, guess what? They're going to run the ball. I love our defensive front, but they're going to run the ball. Bottom line. Chris Rodriguez, Cavassier Smoke, they will commit to it and they will run it. I guarantee you I'd put good money on it right now. They hit over 100 yards rushing. So, they're going to run the ball. You got to be able to run it too. You've got to set the tone early as the more physical football team, in my opinion. That to me is probably the biggest key of the game. You've got, and that actually is my biggest key because I've already done our show and I gave my keys to the game. That is the biggest key. Win with physicality. That's it. You got to be more physical than them. Because as much as football changes, and I talked about this going into week 1, as much as football changes, things change, offenses change, rules change, the players change, whatever, schemes. One thing remains constant, and that is the team that wins at the point of attack is probably going to win the football game. Like, if you can line up across from someone and just impose your will on them and whip their ass, you're going to win. That's it. Bottom line. So, pretty simple game when you think about it. You throw the ball, you catch the ball, you tackle the man with the ball. Not that hard. Easy to say sitting up here, though. Again, 843-790-3377. Text that number if you got any questions, by the way. If you're sitting here, by the way, if you're not here, you should be. $3 drafts. Fantastic drink special in the city. $3 draft? Who doesn't love a $3 draft? Come on. Let's see. Jesse Jacobs, he says you cannot blame the play calling when the defensive line blows every play up. Agree. Great to hear Satterfield talk about Juju. The dude is a bad man. Got to feed him. Yeah, Juju didn't touch the ball last week, which is kind of nuts. But I don't think it mattered who touched it, to be honest. Our O-line wasn't giving a hole for nobody anyways. So what difference would it have made? Carolina Titans, some of our running backs need to stop dancing and just hit the hole. And you say some of our running backs, I'll just call the guy out right now. Marshawn Lloyd, 5-star prospect. Got to stop dancing. I love Marshawn. Great kid. Going to be a great player for us. Going to be a great player. Marshawn's biggest problem right now is he wants to make every play the home run. Every single one of them. Hit some singles and doubles first. Then the home run will come. But he's so concerned with proving the doubters wrong that he's this guy, that he's this 5-star. Bro, nobody gives a damn how many stars you had. Be a productive running back. Get yardage. As Corey Boyd told me in the airwaves, gain yardage, don't lose yardage. Be the hammer, not the nail. That should be the mentality of this entire football team this weekend. Be the hammer, not the nail. All right? Hey, you guys work in the corporate world. Some days you are the hammer, some days you are the nail. We need to be the hammer Saturday night. Bottom line. Let's see. Yeah, also the passing game. Hey, How about those people that said Luke Doty couldn't throw the deep ball? My feelings, exactly. Yeah. No, Luke Doty, I think the passing game, those got to be there. Josh Van, obviously on the outside. Who steps up on the outside of Josh? Who steps on the outside of Josh? I'll tell you this, too. You got to get the tight ends involved this weekend. Got to get them involved, man. Got to get them involved. Jaheim Bell has to touch the football. He's one of my key matchups. Jaheim Bell against the safety from Kentucky, Yusuf Corker. He's got to touch. Those tight ends have got to get the football, bro. They're some of your best players on your football team. And in a game like this, your best players got to make plays. And, damn it, Jaheim Bell is one of your best players. He's one of your best. You got to get him the football, bottom line. Bottom line, you got to get him the football. So, Nick Muse, where's he been? Where's Nick been, right? Hey, if you're going to pose on IG in the summer, you got to make plays in the fall. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. He knows that. We all know that. If you're going to have me rocking a big Nick Energy shirt on stage, you better make some plays, damn it. I can tell you that right now. I don't do that for fun. I'm doing that because you're good. Justin Langford says, what's up? You what? Put the hammer down. Hey, I don't give a damn what you do. You go to 5 points every night if you want. You can post silliness on IG if you want. But if you ain't making plays, I don't want to see any of it. That's the problem you had with the previous regime. You had guys chirping and talking shit on Twitter that weren't making plays. You know? So, anyways, different topic for a different day. Justin Langford says, I think we're 60-40 pass rush, which is no bueno. That is not what we should be. We should be 60-40 run to pass. The strength is the running game. How disappointing will it be if we go through this entire season and not a single back hits 1,000 yards with the guys we have, the stable we have? And by the way, for those tuning in, because I see some comments, I'm a huge fan of Nick Muse. I've met Nick, awesome dude. But, hey, the reality is, got to make plays. I don't think it's all on Nick either, by the way. I don't know that we've really schemed our guys in the game plan. I don't know. I just, we tried to go to him at ECU, and we threw a pick early with Zeb. And, I mean, again, Georgia, tough to gauge. They completely neutralized everything we did, but you've got to get them involved. And those guys are too good of players. I mean, Nick Muse is a preseason all-conference guy. Jaheim Bell, as I've mentioned many times, a freakish athlete. He's got to get involved, man. He's got to be involved in your game plan. Now, here is, and I'm so happy that you're the one that brought this up and not me. So, because people can't blame me now. I always love that, by the way, when I'm on social media and there's something that I know if I were the first person to say it, all hell would break loose. But because someone else says it, I can now I can just join in. And I'm not going to get the blame. Kind of like when the Muschamp video dropped before the Tennessee game last year, get the F out of your seat, Spurs up. See, I got that video sent to me, and I was like, I'm going to hold off. And then my buddy Cox by 90 posted. I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to repost it because people can't blame me for it, because at that point it was still right. Kirk understands the layout of Twitter, so he knows people would blame me for whatever. When in doubt, blame me. Now we just blame Muschamp, but it used to be blame me. But the point he just made was this. God, I'm so glad you brought this up. I was actually talking about this with somebody earlier today. Your point was basically, long story short, that maybe from what we've seen so far this year and looking back at last year, Mike Bobo is a better play caller than Marcus Satterfield. When you look at the body of work, what he did last year with the same players, by the way, the same players. I mean, 4 or 5 on the line and the same running back, and now this year. See, that's the conversation no Gamecock fan is ready to have. Maybe Mike Bobo was at least in the run game, maybe not in the pass game, but at least in the run game, he schemed the hell out of this group to get what he got out of Kevin. Nobody's ready for that combo, though, bro. Nobody wants to have that combo. I get it. It's all my homies hate Mike Bobo. We don't like Mike Bobo, but he did get 1,000 yards out of Kevin Harris behind this exact same offensive line. And I tell you what, that running game don't look nothing like it did last year. Nothing. So, fair. And listen, I think it's a fair point. I think it's a fair point. I really do.
What do you think the score would be if we played Eastern Carolina last year with Mike Bobo? With the same team?
Well, that's tough. What would the score be if we played East Carolina with the 2020 Gamecocks? Well, what point in the season? Are we playing them early on when we still have hope? Early? I don't know, man. I mean, it's tough to say. It's tough. I feel like we'd have ran the ball. I feel like we'd have. I'll tell you this. I feel confident in saying we'd have ran for more than 2.8 yards a carry. I can tell you that right now. I mean, I forget what we averaged as a team last year, but it was like 4 point something. We were over 4 for sure, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Got to fix the run game. Running game's got to be fixed. You can't. I mean, hey, and I don't think anybody would take him, but I was going to say you can't bring Mike Bobo back, right? He's screwing Auburn right now. He's not screwing us. So, but again, the guy knows run game. He knows the run game. And so the only time will tell. Again, I'm one of these people. Again, I'm not going to hold Marcus Satterfield's feet to the fire. It's so tough for me to judge Satterfield because this isn't their offensive personnel. This is somebody else's. But at the same time, I mean, if the Gamecocks go throughout this season and they can't run the ball, it is going to be kind of like, well, I mean, it's not the players because somebody else did it with the same guys. Like, what did you – and I guess that's the crazy thing, man. And, again, I know you ran for 260 week 1, but EIU, like, who cares? Who cares? You ran for like 109 against East Carolina. Like, what changed? How can the schematics change that much to where you're – like, it's painfully tough to run the ball right now. You had negative rushing yards at halftime of the East Carolina game, and you had eight at halftime of the Georgia game. I mean, if you get to Kentucky and it's halftime and you got 10 yards of rushing, I mean, you're probably down by 2 touchdowns, first thing. I mean, dude, I don't know what the fix is. I mean, again, that's why I enjoy talking to Mike Matulis and John Strickland and all these former offensive linemen because they can give me perspective that I don't have because again, to us as fans, it's like you look at it, I know it's not as simple as just block the guy who's right in front of you, but I tell you what, maybe it's not that simple, but you sure as hell can't just let him run right past you. That's insanity, dude. Like, I'd rather you make the mistake of, you know what, I'm going to make sure this guy in front of me don't get there. If there's a breakdown somewhere else, then fine. But if I'm on the offensive line, I don't want to be the guy people are blaming for that, I don't want to be the guy that's being blamed like I'm Jalen Nichols, and if this is the defender, I just stuck my hand out. Like, give me a break, dude. Like, and Kentucky's got a good defensive front. They got a good defense as a whole. They got a good defensive front, and they're going to come after Luke Doty all night. So, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this, I did not expect this. I did not expect this at all, to be talking about the offensive line this much coming into week 4. I thought this would be a strength for us. I really did. And, boy, oh, boy, quite the contrary it has been. Again, 843-790-3372. Guys, we're rolling here on a Wednesday afternoon. Rolling, absolutely rolling. We've already done our 2-hour live show today, noon to 2. We recorded tomorrow's show. We got an interview. Now we're here at Tin Roof, just taking your questions. Really good time. Again, nonstop. I never shut up. Somebody asked about Jamie Robinson's tweet, by the way. Anybody see that? Jamie Robinson tweeted, regrets with a thinking box. Now, he could be tweeting about anything, by the way. I understand why fans, though, again, it's like everything they say, it's got to be related to football. Yeah, I'm sure Jamie Robinson, Kiera Thomas are hating life right now, my honest opinion. Thank God this isn't a Florida State show. Woo! Thank God we're not Noles fans. Florida State 0-3. I'll tell you what, though, I'll be cheering for 2 teams on Saturday. The Gamecocks and the NC State Wolfpack. Isn't that right, Kurt? Go Pack. Go Pack. I know Kirk was really disappointed today, by the way, when Shane Beamer was asked about uniforms, and he said that we're going to be wearing garnet, some form of garnet. Kirk, a big fan of black. No more black in the rotation, I think, Kirk. I don't know. No more black in the rotation. Terrible, he says. Terrible. Kirk said Kirk would have him do another blackout if it was up to him. Hey, tell him you can't be legendary fan of the game and them not take your input, right? I mean, they gave you the jacket. They don't want to give you any input on the jerseys. I don't know. Joey says, I understand that Coach Beamer wants to keep the positive vibes, but sometimes you got to get in somebody's butt and hold them accountable. And I think he's doing that, bro. I mean, listen, you can have positive vibes and hold people accountable. I mean, I love the fact we've seen the fiery side of Shane Beamer over these last couple of weeks, and the way he's kind of going after the media a little bit, and talking about the 105 stars that Georgia features and all that. I loved his brutal honesty. I think it's refreshing. I think Beamer's honesty is extremely refreshing. So, again, guys, 843-790-3377. $3 drafts, guys, at Tin Roof. Appreciate y'all coming out to Tin Roof, talking Gamecocks. We're looking ahead to this weekend's matchup. Gamecocks taking on the Kentucky Wildcats in what poses as a huge game, really a pivotal game. Like I said, I've been doing this all week. I'll continue to do it tomorrow, Friday, maybe even Saturday morning. Probably not Saturday because I'm going to be – see, that's what people don't get is I spend the entire week being very realistic and grounded and making real projections and predictions and all that. But when I wake up on Saturday, no matter who the Gamecocks are playing, the eternal optimist in me says, this is why we can win. This is why we will win, no matter who the opponent is. You have to have that side of you as a Gamecock fan. To be a Gamecock, you have to. You have to believe you're going to win. But I spent last week doing this as well for the Georgia game, but in a much, much different light, right, in regards to just shedding light to fans that, hey, this is going to be a challenge. Let's be hopeful. Let's be optimistic. Beamer ball, go Beamer, all that good stuff. But, we all understood the challenge that was at hand, right? And so I spent last week doing that. Now, this is a much different situation in the sense of you are on, like I said earlier, equal footing with Kentucky. This is a much more doable task, you could say, for this Gamecocks football team. And let's check the poll again one more time. We ran a poll. Is this a must-win game? And I'd love to hear, again, continue to hear, guys, do you feel like this is a must-win game Saturday? And I feel like must-win is thrown around and used way too much. But 4 hours ago, I posted a poll on Twitter. It's got 20 more hours to go. It said, would you call this weekend's game against Kentucky a must-win? Again, this is on Twitter. In just 4 hours, there have been 1,182 votes. 76% say this is a must-win game. That scares me. That scares me that people are saying that. Because I just don't want people to put this game on a pedestal to the point of where if we lose, season's over, season's a wash, it's a failure, you can't achieve your goals. Because I got to be honest, guys, I picked this as a loss in the preseason. I had the Gamecocks starting 2-2, and I also had South Carolina winning their next 3 after that. I think out of Kentucky, Tennessee, Auburn, Mizzou, the goal is to go 2-2 in those games. So that's why I called East Carolina the most important game of the season, because you don't have to beat Kentucky to go to a bowl game. You don't. You don't. As much as I've seen people on social media say that, you don't. You really don't. So what happens if you lose to Kentucky, but you beat Tennessee and Mizzou? And you take care of your business against Troy Minnie? You're going bowling, bottom line. So you don't have to beat Kentucky to go to a bowl game. You had to beat East Carolina. You had to. You had to beat them. Took care of that. You're 2-1, right where everybody predicted you to be. But I just don't want fans to put this game on such a pedestal. I know we're excited. I'm not telling you not to be excited, optimistic. I am. I'm excited and optimistic. But don't put the game on a pedestal to the point of if the game doesn't go how you think it should go, fire everyone. Oh, Beamer's not going to get it done here. He can't win a big game, this, that, whatever. It is game 4 of year 1. I'll even go a step further. And I said this on the podcast that will drop tomorrow. I'm so glad I remember this. I'll go a step further. I said this in the preseason. I'll say it again. On the flip side, there's no reason South Carolina should win the game. You want my honest opinion? There's no reason Carolina should beat Kentucky Saturday. Guys, Mark Stoops is year 9 of his tenure. Shane Beamer's year 1. If I'm a Kentucky fan, which thank God I'm not, but if I'm a Kentucky fan, that's what I'm saying. Our year 9 head coach better not lose to a year 1 head coach. I don't care if it's home or away. You better not. Our program should be way further along than theirs is. Now, would we like to win it? Yes. And I think one of the big reasons why this one's so big for fans too is I think fans are just so sick of losing to Kentucky. I mean, you can get away with a lot as Carolina's head football coach, and those involved, hey, you can. I mean, Gamecock fans, we're not asking for a whole lot, but damn it, you cannot lose to Kentucky in football and make a very good living in Columbia, South Carolina. I can tell you that much right now. You need to beat Kentucky. You need to beat Vandy, and you need to beat Kentucky. And you need to beat Missouri more often than you lose to them. You can lose to Georgia. You can lose to Florida, even Tennessee every now and then, but you cannot lose to Kentucky and make a very good living here. That is a fact. So, but again, you got to tip your cap at what Mark Stoops and those guys built because, again, all that positive energy, positive momentum, all that good stuff, that's not what's going to play the game Saturday. It's going to be football players. And I'd argue right now Kentucky top to bottom is a better football team than you are. I mean, I don't think that's a hot take either. I mean, are they more talented than you necessarily? I mean, recruiting rankings wouldn't say so. But, again, I said this was so funny about this, guys, is I talked about this in the preseason last year. People were coming at me for it. I wanted to just rip my throat out for this. I said that Mark Stoops is everything that Will Muschamp was not. In the sense of Mark Stoops gets guys who are maybe lesser talent, stars aren't there, but they fit the culture, they fit the system, they fit the scheme, and he develops the hell out of them and makes them really, really good college football players. On the flip side, you had a guy, on the staff, your head coach, that got talent, but after 3 or 4 years, they were 4 and 5 star high school kids on a college roster. They weren't good. They were not productive college football players. That was the issue you had. And that's the issue you're still fighting now. We've seen a couple of guys break through it. Josh Vann, certainly. He's breaking through. He's emerged as a big-time playmaker for you. But you're still fighting that battle right now. You're still fighting that battle. So, top to bottom, I'd say Kentucky's probably a better football team than you. That's really tough for Carolina fans here. Now, are they a better program? Absolutely not. No. When you factor in everything else that has to do with facilities and fan support and everything else, no. Kentucky doesn't hold a candle to South Carolina. But right now, and hey, guys, I mean, if you want any indication of that, Kentucky's a 5-point favorite on your home field. What does that say? I mean, how disrespectful is that, right? Kentucky's a favorite on your home field. So we'll see. I mean, hey, Vegas, they don't, that doesn't really mean anything necessarily. It doesn't mean anything. But that's the fact of the matter. That's the reality of it. So, again, 843-790-3377. I'll tell you this right now. I asked you earlier. I wouldn't call this game a must-win. I feel like the phrase must-win is thrown around way too loosely. And I would ask you this. Again, people label this as the most important game of the season. Why? Why not Tennessee? To me, Tennessee holds the same weight as Kentucky. Missouri holds the same weight as Kentucky.
Hey, Chris, you know what? I think a lot of people think the only way to get to 6-6 is with this win.
Yeah. I've seen that a lot. So, yeah, he just made the point that many people think, and I've seen people say, you got to beat Kentucky to get to a bowl game. No, you don't. You really don't. You really don't, actually. Would it help? I mean, yeah. Let me ask you this. If you beat Kentucky but lose to Tennessee and you start 5-2 anyways, which is what I picked, are you still going to get to a bowl game or not? I mean, you can't would it be a really, really nice to win, a great to win? Yes, but it's not a must win. It's not a must win. It'd be a nice to win. Hey, I'll tell you this. Who would you rather beat, Kentucky or Tennessee? I'd actually probably say Kentucky, honestly. Well, because it kind of goes back to the Georgia conversation where it's like beating Tennessee would be sweet. But I think we all agree, like, you got to get back to beating Kentucky and Mizzou and those guys on a regular basis. Like, if you're ever going to really contend, you could go 8-4 this year, but if you lose to Kentucky, it's like that thing sticking in your side a little bit. And you'll get away with it this year. I'm not going to say, like, I'm not going to hold it against Beamer this year, but that became a thing for the last staff where it's like, bro, it's year 4, year 3, year 4, year 5, and you're still losing to Kentucky. Like, nobody's going to take you seriously if you can't beat Kentucky. I'm sorry. And Kentucky fans, which I'm sure there's so many of you out there, there's so many of you tuned in, that's just how it is, man. That stigma's not going to ever leave Kentucky football until they go win the SEC East and win a championship, and that ain't going to happen. Jordan Smith says Vanderbilt's a must-win game. I mean, yeah, obviously. You lose to Vandy, you have another slew of problems that I don't even want to dive into. That's the fun thing, though, man, about college football. Is it not just so week to week? It's so week to week. 1 week, your team is great, right? And the next week, fire everyone. I mean, it never fails. It never fails. It never fails. Colonel Titan says games are not must-wins until Beamer and staff have teams full of players that they recruited and have had time to properly implement their offensive and defensive schemes. Yeah. I mean, again, to call game 4 of year 1 of your new head coach, a must-win is a little aggressive. That's a little – and I even said that about game 2 where I called ECU the most important game of the season, but I'm not going to call it a must-win, man. Give the guy a break. You know what I mean? Like, it's year 1. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that year 1's a wash, but this year is much more about establishing the culture and laying the foundation than it is winning 8 games. You know what I mean? Hey, if you go 7-5 or 8-4, but you don't change the culture, you did nothing in year 1. You did nothing. Because in the short term, it might benefit you, but what does it do in the long run? You know what I mean? So, obviously we want to get to a bowl game. That helps recruiting, helps everything, but you got to change the culture and lay the foundation. That's really what the measure of this year is. All I want to see in year 1, I said this over the summer, I just want to see a well-coached football team. That's it. Because once you get a well-coached football team, then all you're missing is big-time players, the Jimmies and the Joes. Once you get those guys, now you're cooking. Now you can really go do something. So 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. We're going to take one more 5-minute break because I got to use the restroom. One more 5-minute break, though. Again, would love to take your questions, comments. Again, do you feel this is a must-win game? What are your score predictions, by the way? Those who are tuned in, if you're here in person, you want to text it in, whatever, 843-790-3377. We'll be right back. Phil, cut the music. Cue the music. We'll be right back. All right, cool. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Just 20 minutes to go here on a Wednesday. Well, we'll probably cut it about 5 minutes short, too, so we can let these guys get set up and everything. It's about 15 minutes to go here on a Wednesday. Jimmy Mendillo, by the way, says South Carolina 27, Kentucky 10. Twisted Chicken says Gamecocks 24, Kentucky 21. Hamilton, what you got? What's your score? What's you guys' score? Why not? Want to hear it. 843-790. What's your score prediction? You're on the spot now. Yeah.
35-21.
Whoa. 35-21 Kentucky, he says. Woo. You foul for that. You are foul for that. Hey. Oh. Kirk's about ready to jump the homie up in here. All right, what's this?
Someone came to me. I don't know if it was
Oh, my God.
but Kevin Harris going to go off and have 150 yards rushing with 3 TDs, or we're still going to lose.
Kevin Harris, 150 with 3 TDs, but that's all the offense will get in a 35-21. Tell you what, pray that doesn't happen for me specifically because I'm doing a post-game show after that one. Hoo boy, the phone lines will be jumping if that happens. I can tell you that. Carolina Titans says the offensive line is the biggest question mark this week. DBs have been serviceable, and I'm starting to gain some confidence in Jalen Foster. He seems to be in position most of the time to make the plays at safety. Yeah, Jalen Foster's been incredible. Former 2-star recruit, by the way. So, incredible stuff. He's been awesome. Been a while since we've really had a safety play that way. So, I love to see that. Love to see that. O-line, though, definitely biggest question mark. Brian Dean says 31-21 South Carolina. Justin Langford says 28-21 Gamecocks. 35-21 Kentucky. Hey, I respect it. I respect it. God, I hope that doesn't happen. God, I hope that doesn't happen at all. What's Kirk's prediction? Probably Cox by 90, right? Cox by 90. That's it. My prediction for Saturday night, Sandstorm will be incoming. That's it. Hey, my predictions, we're going to play Sandstorm. We're going to wave white towels, and we're going to wear garnet jerseys. That's my prediction. That's all I got until Friday when I drop my score. So, who knows? Kirk might be telling me to get the blank out of here, too, when he sees my score prediction. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what it is. I genuinely sit here right now on a Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to pick. I truly think this is the definition of a coin flip. Like I think it'll be a close. I don't see it being a 2-touchdown game either way. I can tell you that right now. Oh yeah. No, it's a. I think it's a close game either way. I don't. I think these teams are pretty damn close to even. You know, even the fact I said, Kentucky's a better football team top to bottom. That's because they've developed players much better than South Carolina has. But the Gamecocks do, I think, have more talent. You want to talk about talent? I think they have more talent. And the Gamecocks have enough good football players to beat Kentucky. There's just no question. It all comes back to the offensive line. Can you block? That's it. I mean, really, that is it to me. That's it. Can you block well enough to run the football, to get a guy like Kevin Harris to 150 and 3 scores, to free up a guy like Marshawn Lloyd, to free up a guy like Quan White and Rashad Amos and Juju? That's it. Carolina Titans says he's got Gamecocks 24, Kentucky 23. Doty starts to put the SEC East on notice, he says. Love it. Robbie Davis says, I already know I gave you my score prediction. Just a prediction. Don't care the score. Just want us to win, and our offensive line needs to show up. That is a damn fact. How about, good Lord, Brian Dean with the prediction of the night. Luke Doty's stat line prediction. Brian Dean says, Luke Doty will go 25 of 35 for 370 and 4 touchdowns. On what planet is that going to happen? Dude, if Luke Doty, I'll tell you this to Brian Dean and everybody else here. If Luke Doty throws for 370 and 4 touchdowns, Carolina wins 56-21. There's not even a question in my mind. Because our offensive balance will be so insane. Oh, yeah. So, John Kruger's got 24-21 Gamecocks beating Kentucky. So, yeah. Like I said, I'll drop my prediction Friday. I'm very back and forth. I see it being a little bit higher scoring, though. I think like a 31-27, 28-24 kind of game. So I guess not much more higher scoring. But I think that both teams will score, I think. I really do. I think both teams score. I think it's a competitive back and forth game. Again, I don't know necessarily which side I'm leaning. I don't know. I don't know. And even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. So leave it at that. I believe Doty is capable, but 370, a little aggressive. A little aggressive for sure. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Taking your questions coming up. What's up? Right. Both teams are equally matched, home field advantage. Yeah. Now, I agree. I mean, and it's very popular to pick the home dog. We're +5 at home. You know, most, and certainly Gamecock fans, Gamecock bettors would say, oh, no-brainer, home dog. And I think there's also a little bit of an overreaction to what Kentucky did last week, struggling to beat Chattanooga, which I put no stock in that. I mean, I think Kentucky, after beating Mizzou, coming off an emotional night game at home, beating Mizzou, it was the perfect setup for a noon kick, sleepwalk through an FCS game. How many times have we seen South Carolina do the exact same thing? So I don't put any stock in that result at all. But, again, Gamecock fans ask, what can we do? How can we change the program and show love and support Coach Beamer? No matter the final result, show up, be loud, be early, give Kentucky hell. That's what recruits want to see. They don't care quite as much, honestly, about the final result of the game. But they want to see a raucous, rowdy environment, a passionate fan base. You know, I'll tell you this right now. You can't sit here and say, well, the Gamecocks, we have the best fan base in college football, and then not sell out Saturday night. You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm sorry, you cannot. So if you want to tout we're the best fan base, well, go prove it on Saturday night. You got your chance. Go prove it Saturday night. Go sell it out. Slammed. Sanford was slammed. Bro, was a 32-point favorite. Sanford was slammed. That was insane to me, dude. I mean, I know, you know, it's a rivalry and all. It's a rivalry for sure, but man, their fans didn't give a damn how much they were favored by. They said, we're going to show up and hope to beat Carolina's ass. So, somebody else says Doty throws for 220, rushed for 50, and we're at a little bit over 200 yards rushing. Again, I respect the opinions. The opinions are fair. The predictions are fair. But again, know this. When you say that, when you say the Gamecocks are going to run for over 200 yards, you are the one with the bold take. You are going against the grain of everything we have seen thus far this season, because we have seen nothing in the first 3 games that tells you we're going to run the ball that well. That's just a fact, bro. That's a fact. You can be upset with that. That's a fact. There's nothing that says we are going to run the ball that effectively. Haven't done it yet all season. Haven't done it all season. We ran for 2.8 yards per carry against East Carolina, much less Kentucky. So, just saying. But you got to be able to run the ball to win. Bottom line, you got to be able to run the ball to win. It's got to happen. Isn't that right, Phil? You got to run the ball to win. Again, 843-790-3377. We'll take a couple more questions, a couple more comments. We'll wrap this thing up. Hamilton, do you have the recruiting question? What's the recruiting question? Hit me with some recruiting. A lot of big visits this weekend. A lot of big visits.
When you say the foundation of the football program, like, what do you mean by just that? And what is the most important thing when it comes to recruiting? What do they really want to see? Do they want to see the flashing lights in the stadium? Do they want to see the facilities? Do they want to know how much games the team's going to win? What is the most important to that? And what is...
Yeah, so laying the foundation, what does it mean when you say that, you know, Shane Beamer and company are laying the foundation? I mean, I think it really starts with the culture, just the way you do things, the way you talk in the building, the way they approach day-to-day, what are current players saying about the way the coaches treat them. Just really, again, it's almost like the culture at a workplace. I mean, it's not that much different. I mean, the way you operate, your daily sense of operations, right? Like, not every school does it the same. And, obviously the way that Shane Beamer does it's going to be much different than the way the previous staff and the previous regime does it. When he's talking above all else, love your brother, lead with love, gratitude. Those are not things we heard from the previous staff, obviously. So when I say lay the foundation, that's really what I'm talking about is just instilling the culture, building the culture, if you will. And what are the most important things in recruiting? Well, again, winning's important, but it's not the most, not on the SEC level, but I was recruited. I did not care how Newberry was doing on the field because you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to do? So the things that stand out, hey, the campus, academics, the relationship with the coaching staff, playing time, the facilities. For different guys, it's different things, right? Some guys, they don't care if they play right away. They're cool with coming in and waiting their turn or whatever. There's some guys, that is the number one thing in recruiting they're looking for. I want to go somewhere and play as a freshman. I want to play. And the other things have to fall in line too, but like each guy has different things that are most important to them. So, for example, and it's no knock on the kid no matter what he decides, but we're going to find out what kind of kid Oscar Delp is. Does Oscar Delp care more about playing immediately and trying to do things that have never been done before? Or does he just want to go win a ring and he doesn't care if he plays right away? Which either way is fine. Again, I'm not going to knock Oscar Delp for whatever he decides. That's his decision. It's his life. But that's what Spurrier and company were able to do so well. They were able to find guys that wanted to be trendsetters and wanted to do things and try to accomplish things that had never been done before. And that's why I think it's so beneficial, again, to have Shane Beamer as your head coach, who's a guy that's, was on that staff. He has sold that message, and he's seen what can happen at South Carolina if you get a bunch of guys like that who believe in that and all work together to make that happen. He's seen it happen firsthand. So, again, in recruiting, though, certainly winning helps. People want to go where it's fun, and winning is very fun. And I think what Spurrier and them did so well, though, they made South Carolina the cool place to go play. It was cool to be a Gamecock. Hey, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, Dabo made it cool to go to Clemson. Hey, it's cool to be a Clemson Tiger. Like, he did. Call it for what it is. So that's what Shane Beamer's trying to get us back to is, it's cool to be a Gamecock again. It's cool to go to South Carolina. It's cool to play football there. And, again, there are things outside of that matter, but that's a big part of it. These are kids, but they're 17-year-old kids picking a school, right? So, different things for different guys matter in recruiting, but the things that I mentioned, academics, having their major, for example, playing time early, relationship with a coaching staff, those things for most of the guys are more important than do we beat Kentucky Saturday. But I can tell you this, and again, if you beat Kentucky, would it help? Sure, but no matter what, having a packed stadium, like, for example, if Carolina would have upset Georgia over the weekend, would that make Oscar Delp pick Carolina? I don't know, but I tell you what, they probably sure impressed the hell out of him with that crowd. Hey, you come here, bro. Also, I didn't even mention this in recruiting. A history of putting guys in the league. That certainly helps. Your tradition. Hey, tradition's a massive part of recruiting. That's the battle we have to fight. We don't have it. We don't have tradition. Call it for what it is. We do not have that. That's how Tennessee's able to recruit at the level they are. Tennessee they're not worth anything right now, but they do have a history of winning. They've won a national title. They've done it before. They're still trying to sell that, which, again, year by year that passes by, that is fading in the distance, thankfully. But, schools are able to sell tradition. Bama tells kids, hey, you come here, you are going to win a championship and go to the league. Both of those things will happen. That's a pretty good pitch to recruits.
Hey, Chris, is that starting to fit? I know we're on football, but is that starting to fit our baseball team, the national team?
Oh, yeah. It has. It's not starting to. It has. Yeah. Or even since the early Tanner days. Hey, you come to Carolina, it's the best of the best. We expect to win. We have high expectations. Omaha's the goal. And, damn it, look how many guys we have that get drafted. A lot. Even this past year, we had like 8 guys get drafted. That's great to go sell to a kid and be like, hey, you come here. I'll tell you this, probably most of the SEC schools are saying that because the SEC schools care about baseball. But, yeah, when you're recruiting, I mean, I can guarantee you Mark Kingston saying, hey, man, you come here and you ball out, you will get drafted. Bottom line, this is the best of the best. You come here and ball out, you will get drafted. Same thing goes with football too, though. Hey, it's the best of the best, man. If you come here and you're a star, I promise you, you're going to get drafted, you're going to get paid. So, yeah, I mean, but again, there's different messaging in recruiting, what guys are looking for, what they value more than others. I mean, dude, I remember recruiting on NCAA Football 14. It was the same thing. Some guys, value playing time. Some want that tradition and history. Some want they just love the coaching staff. Some want the academics, whatever. But everybody's got a reason. Not many guys, I think, just go to a school because they want a single game. That doesn't. Again, is it fun to go places where they're winning? Sure, but you'd be shocked how little I think that matters when it comes to signing guys and recruiting elite classes. So, yeah. And I think Shane Beamer, again, he's going to find the right guys. You got to find the guys that are fits for you. They're the right guys. They're going to come and make a difference for you. And I think Shane Beamer will do that. I think he knows. And, again, that's why he got the job. He knows how to recruit South Carolina. He understands what it takes to come into a place like this and to win big. And he's seen it firsthand. So I think that's why we all feel so confident that Coach Beamer is going to get the job done. On that note, we're going to wrap it up. Appreciate y'all coming out again. $3 drafts at Tin Roof. Couple quick reminders. Do have koozies only for sale if you guys want to buy some koozies. We got free stickers. We got Beat Kentucky stickers. TSUS tailgate will be Saturday at Seawells. Spots 93 to 96. Again, Seawells spots 93 to 96. Going to be a really, really good time. Like I said, we'll be out there around 12 or 12:30. Going to be getting after it all day long out at Seawells. And again, folks, like I said, I'm not just saying it. We're about that action. We have a good time out of the Seawells tailgates. The conversation with Mike Matulis, I want to thank Mike for coming out. That conversation will drop on the podcast tomorrow. So if you guys want to hear that, it will be redistributed on the podcast. Other than that, yeah, again, tip your bartenders. Tip everybody here. Tin Roof, appreciate y'all. Thank you so much again for the continued love and support, man. It's incredible. Stay safe in this weather if you're in the Columbia area. If not, all good. But again, appreciate y'all, man. Thank you all so much. I'll leave you with this. Go Cox, beat Kentucky. Let's get the job done this weekend. Y'all take care. Let's have a good night. Appreciate it.